Inside Sports Talk.
1, 2, talk and talk.
Inside Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories in collegiate sports. Bringing you the news that will impact every college athlete in America. From the Ivy League to the SWAC, Big Sky to the Big Ten, Notre Dame, FAMU, Miami or Maine. No university is too big, no college too small. We tell it all.
Talk and talk.
Inside Sports Talk with your hosts, the coach, Mickey Clayton, bringing you insight on all the latest stories from all the biggest names in collegiate sports. Join us for the next 60 minutes for Inside Sports Talk. The sports talk show of a different kind.
Welcome to Insights. This is your host, Mickey Clayton, the coach, and we're here on our weekly show at Cody's here in Tallahassee, Florida. Today's show, we're talking about the favorite time of the year for sports. Everybody has an opinion on what time of the year that they really enjoy all the different activities, sports, college, high school, and pros. We're going to have with us a special guest, Rick Brown from the Lakeland Legend. We're going to have him on Skype. But we also have had a number of comments from our listeners who also have texted in, been on Facebook, and given us their thoughts on their most favorite time of the year. So we're going to have a lively discussion on that. And at any time you feel like you want to have input, want your opinion heard, go to us on Facebook or Twitter, Insights, I-N-S-I-I-G-H-T-S, Insights, 2 I's in the middle. We'd like to share your opinion with everybody. But we always have our opening segment. We have Rick Brown from the Lakeland Legend on his popular People on the Pros. And we have Billy Boy with the Locker Room Rant, telling you what's going on in college sports. And we're going to hear that segment right now.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, memo to all the LeBron James Cleveland Cavalier fans. Relax. Don't panic. Yeah, I know after the loss to Washington, the Cavs' record dropped below 500. But relax, folks. We haven't even played a month in the NBA season yet. Relax. Tell them, Coach. No matter how talented a group may look on paper, this isn't fantasy basketball. It takes time for a unit to gel. Hey, remember when LeBron and Chris Bosh first went to Miami? They were 9-8 at one point in the season before eventually reaching the NBA Finals. Hey, Brooklyn got Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and they struggled early, and they never really recovered, so it wasn't good enough for them. It takes time. Now, if this was March and Cleveland, is still floating around 500, then I will let you panic. Until then, folks,
RELAX. That's it for me. Follow me on Twitter at RickBrown91.
How about this, Rick? S-H-U-T up. Shut up. We not relaxed. We need wins now. We're not trying to hear that, Rick. We're not trying to hear that.
Hey there, Coach Clayton. It's your main man, this Billy Boy. I'm here today to give you my edition of the Locker Room Rant. Give you an inside look at what's going on in college sports. Well, we had a rival game last week with North Carolina and Duke. Duke been kind of handling that on that football thing for a little while now. They beat them last 3-4 years in a row, but North Carolina beat Duke pretty bad this past weekend, 45-20. They put a whooping up on that thing. Now they got their hind parts. Yes, they did. But they carried the celebration a little bit too far. They did what they call significant. They did a lot of damage to the locker room, and the coaches had to get involved and call and apologize, and the ADs called and apologized and said, they really kind of disrespected by the way they kind of wrecked their locker room, $25,000 worth of damage. For some people, that's a whole heap of damage there. Boy, $25,000 worth of damage. So they had painted stuff in and graffitified it and put graffiti all over everywhere, put that light blue on there. They ain't gonna take no action on the players, I understand, but they gonna have to pay that $25,000 bill. It's your main man, this Billy Boy. I'm out of here. I'm getting ready for this rivalry weekend. You better get ready too.
That's going to be something that we're going to talk about with Rick about rivalry weekend coming up. Everybody got a big game coming this week in college football. But just in case, Rick, I'm going to repeat it for you. You try to spell relax. 6 letters, S-H-U-T, U-P. We want to win now. You can't let the season get away from us. But we're going to talk about that. And when we come back, we're going to get an opportunity to hear Rick Brown. He has an opinion on everything. But we're going to hear it in just a minute. Inside, take a break. He talking.
All right.
Go by Formals by Vince if you want the freshest, tightest tuxedos and suit wear, not only in Tallahassee, but the Panhandle area. You want to go by there. Let Vince hook you up. He's the man. Burlington Coat Factory is located next to it and located in the Tallahassee Mall. Go by Formals by Vince. They fit them all, the big and the tall. Coach Clayton will testify to that. Formal wear by Vince, proud sponsor of Insights. Okay, we'll get ready to go, Rick.
All right, 7 minutes.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
And with me, who's becoming my regular as a co-host, so I have to stop calling him my guest co-host, Rick Brown, famous sports reporter from the Lakeland Legend, and a legend in only his own mind. Welcome, Rick.
Hello, Coach. How you doing?
We appreciate you. Now, we can talk about the best time of the year when it just seems like there's sports going on everywhere. I really kind of like this time. I love going into rivalry weekend. I think Thanksgiving Saturday is even better than New Year's Day. I think there's just so many games that come on from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock. You got to have 2 picture-in-picture TV sets to be able to keep up with all the games. Just on that, what do you think about the best time of the year is?
Well, for me, it's Christmas Day. And just because it's all the basketball games that's going on. I mean, you start from noon, and it goes all the way to like 1 a.m. I love basketball. So other than March Madness, you give me Christmas Day. I open up my presents, I get a little grub to eat, and then it's just hoop time, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. Well, for how about people who like morning basketball? You have people this time of year, and I love the NBA, but for me, the early part of the season and the end of the season is the best time for the NBA. It seems like that middle third, they kind of get bored and disinterested, and you don't quite see the caliber of play that you see when the season starts and when you see teams that might not make the playoffs. So I like this time of the year to have that going on. The college basketball seasons are just getting underway, even though they're not always the best games. The NFL season is winding down. You know who the best teams are, unless you're a Redskin fan.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll see what Cleveland does the rest of the way, but go ahead.
Yeah. You know, you sound like the people in Atlanta when we kicked the field goal and left there like we were spraying ether in the Georgia Dome. So, you know, we have these non-believers that are going on all the time.
That is Atlanta. That is Atlanta. Atlanta is part of the NFC South. The NFC South sucks this year. It's horrible. Your team has more than 4 wins.
Rick, you still believe in RG3?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's move on.
Yes.
Let's move on. Let's move
No.
on. And then college football. Huh? Then you got college football, and it's rivalry weekend, and it's really great. And see, you know, the argument going on back and forth, you know, about FSU, and they keep winning, and they still keep dropping in the polls. Then you got high school football with the state championships going on. You have a plethora of things going on that no matter what it is that you like, it's at least options to see something.
Yeah, they are. And if you love college football, this is definitely the weekend. I mean, you got a little taste of it last weekend with some rivalry games, but this is usually the weekend after Thanksgiving that everything comes to a head. I remember back in the day, Oklahoma and Nebraska used to always play the day after Thanksgiving, and I was a big Oklahoma fan back then. So, you know, this is a great weekend for those rivalry games, and you got to love it. And then you mentioned the state playoffs in high school football. You can never go wrong with that being the true, pure love of the sport that these athletes have. It is a good time.
And you know, these guys that are advancing in high school football, you don't even have to know the team to get caught up in going to a state championship in high school football. And it doesn't matter what class it is. If you go and sit down and watch it, you really get caught up watching the game.
Yeah, because you feel the energy and you feel that passion from those alumni of those schools who, you know, especially the smaller schools too, who bring those busloads of fans to those games. It's a great thing. And then, not to mention those teams from South Florida, when they come up in all Duval, when Jacksonville had a few teams that were doing things. So yeah, I mean, it is great. I will give you this. It is a good time of the year. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty good.
You know, and if you ever go and you get a chance to see Pop Warner football, you actually think you're going to a high school game because there's so many people in there to watch them play. And you watch the little kids, and you know, they start at such an early age, and they do so well. You know, football in the South is king. You know, and it just gives you a lot of things that are going on right now. But, you know, we're going to touch on the high school basketball tournaments and what that's like. And you mentioned about Dade County and Duval and how everybody supports it and gets behind it. You know, and even the smaller schools, if you get Mayo or Holmes County or some of those, and the whole city shuts down to follow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, remember when Malone was running all those championships in boys hoop? I mean, that used to just, wow. I mean, in the small towns, I mean, even like a town like Lakeland that isn't so small, but it's still, when the Dreadnoughts play and have a success, it sounds like the entire county comes together to root on this team. High school sports is something that you're never, ever, it's just the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rick. And Insights is going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get part 2 of this. And so far, we've gotten along. We haven't had an argument yet. That's a miracle in itself. Insights taking a break.
Coach Si Alexander, men's basketball coach at North Carolina A&T State University, and I'd like to certainly promote you all listening to Mickey Clayton on Insights, and please talk that talk. It's a great program, and it's going to give you knowledge on not only sports, but on life in general.
It's coming.
You know it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Because I still want to get with you with that S-H-U-T. Couldn't get it right the first time, could you, Coach?
I couldn't get it right.
Couldn't get it right the first time. Hey, look, I'm glad that the people of Sprinklers and iHeartRadio can hear it.
Hey, Rick.
You can cut out the real part, but y'all are here. Coach couldn't get it right, and he was a cloud on me. Darn shame. Darn shame.
Rick, check this out. Let me bust Jeff. He's so busy trying to tell me to take a break. You know why he had to take a break? He had to run to the back room in the back. Rick, you tell me break. 1 minute, break.
You may be called for a cold Red Easter in Georgia, though. When they get the bill done.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Jeff.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
We did get a tweet there, Rick, from somebody who said they really like the springtime because they like the NCAA basketball, the Final Four, spring football, which just think you're really desperate for football, and spring football is on the list. And the baseball draft.
The baseball draft.
Who watches the baseball draft?
The baseball draft, that's 50 rounds over 3 days of looking at your computer because they don't do any. No, the baseball draft, no.
The baseball draft. We got a tweet on that. One of our listeners said the baseball draft.
Hey, well, do you, listener? Hey, do you? If that's what gets you going, you do you.
Say, do you?
Yeah, I'm not doing no baseball draft. I mean, the NFL draft with the 3 days is long enough for me, and I have to cover that.
But nobody even knows who gets drafted in the baseball draft, unless it's you. And then somebody has to call you and tell you that you got drafted last week.
They've got a little better now, but it's still not as exciting because there's so many rounds. I mean, they go up to 50 rounds, coach. They used to go until you just didn't want to pick any more players. That's how just give me the NBA with the 2 rounds. Give me the NFL with the 7 over 3 days. Two, and 3 or 4, whatever it is. And it's a wonderful day.
Well, let me do this, Rick. Flip the coin. What is the most boring time of the year for sports fans?
Summer. I mean, unless you're a baseball fan, and I play baseball, and I'm not a real fan of the sport, we're just watching it. I always wanted to play it. But think about the summertime. Let's just think, even if you're a baseball fan, let's think right after the All-Star game. You got like a 2 or 3 day period where there's just, in July, that nothing's going on. It's nothing. I mean, we have, WNBA.
See, and that's where I was going to go. That's where I was going to go, the WNBA.
Okay, I love you ladies, but no, I'm not going to. And don't get me wrong, I watch games. I'll watch the games sometimes, but no. Soccer's on. No. I still say that period in the summer is pretty dead for me.
And the summer is pretty dead. I played baseball growing up. I can watch a game in person better than watching on television. I guess you could go get some peanuts and watch people in the stands get drunk and act a little crazy. But the summer's a little rough. You have to get out and do some spectator sports then for me. But unless it's the Olympics. If the Olympics are going on during the summer, then you have an exciting run during the summertime.
Yeah, and even then, though, it all depends on the sport. And I'm going to tell you the truth. When the Olympics come on, I'm going to give you the basketball, the Summer Olympics. I'm going to give you the basketball. I'm going to give you the baseball, I guess, maybe track. A little bit.
Track.
I'm definitely I'm going to give you the track.
Got to give them track and swimming.
But you can have the swimming. You can have the swimming and the diving.
Well, that's because you can't swim. That's why you say that. That's because you can't swim.
Oh, hey, I swim like a daggone whale.
I know you do. It's an exercise.
That's stroke, bro.
Yeah, okay. We're going to take a break. Hey, Rick, I got to be where you can see me when I try to cut him off. We're going to take a break and we'll come back for the fourth and final section of the show. But there's an insight from taking a break. I think I'm going to be able to pull me somebody out of the audience to give me an opinion here, too. All right, insight, taking a break.
Thank you.
Casinos by Events is no longer here. If you want the same care, it's now known as Formals by Events. Go by there. They fit them all. They fit the big and the tall. Located in the Tallahassee Mall. It's the place to go where you know that you'll be looking sharp, where you'll be looking clean. And everybody will be wanting to know, where did you get your formal wear and your suits from? Go by there for the individual care. Vince will hook you up. He'll look after you. Formals by Vince. Tallahassee Mall.
We go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
And I was able to pull out of the audience one of our favorite guests that comes and watches, and he also adds a lot to the show. Dr. Ways himself. I think he tried out for the Olympics in high jump one year. He might have pulled a muscle that year.
Pulled a lot of things.
You hear him, Rick, right? But,
Yes, I do.
He hears it, and he has a son. He's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He wasn't over there painting the locker room and stuff.
No, we don't do that.
Okay, now he said that, but the look on his face when we were passing that story around was like, I need to check this cat, make sure he wasn't involved with nothing going on.
I didn't even hear about it.
See? That's when you worry as a dad when something going on and you don't know about it. But tell us about what it's like. You know, the interest. That's one of your favorite times of the year is the track summer.
No question.
The summer.
Yeah, it starts about January now. You know, that indoor season. And then it goes from January until about May or June, depending on what year it is. The odd years they got the World Championships, and then of course the even years they have the Olympics.
Yeah, but the Olympics every 4 years.
Correct.
Okay. How often are the World Games?
World Championships are every other year.
Every other. Now, did you know that, Rick?
Yeah, I did know that, but hey, Coach, what is it going to take to get more exposure, especially television exposure, to track and field? Because you see it every now and then on NBC or NBC Sports or whatever, but shouldn't it have more, especially during the off years? Isn't this the time to really to get it going for the Olympics?
That's a great question. I don't know what it's going to take. We've been talking about that for decades, and I guess with the other major sports demanding so much from the sponsors, there's not much left when it comes to a minor sport like that. But you know, track has its few lawyers, but to get that and demand that type of publicity in this country, you go to Europe, it's a whole different story. But in this country, you know, the major sports just dominate television and the publicity.
Well, why is it so popular in Europe as opposed to here? Because I know that a lot of our athletes go to Europe and compete professionally and do very well. But it's not the same interest here.
Coach, I don't know. I think it started back in the 70s, maybe the 80s, when the Germans and the Russians dominated the sport so much, and their spectators just gravitated towards that sport. And not only that, back in those days, although we did have some elite track and field guys here, but they just dominated the sport so much. I think it just demanded that following.
Okay, because if I'm channel surfing and I see track on, it's usually on the obscure channels. The Pac-12 or Pac-10, the Big Ten, you know, SEC, and I'll stop and watch it, and they're entertaining. But you just happen to catch it on a channel and watch it, but it's entertaining to watch. Okay. Rick, that was a real good question. Now from your point, as a reporter, what can you do to help enhance it?
Well, see, we had a girl, Octavia Freeman, who was the best runner in high school. I mean, she broke all the state records, 1 to 100 and 200 in high school, and 100, 200 meters. And then she went on to UCF, and she did okay in UCF for the first couple of years, but made it to the Olympic trials. So what I can do on a local level is try to expose those athletes. You know, more than that though, I don't know. I don't know, because especially me, I don't know how much pull I would have, you know, trying to get it more popular than I already tried to.
Well, I asked the question, but from insights, as we find out about some of these, we need to be able to highlight some of the things that are going on and push some of it out. I asked the question, but in your answer, the question I can answer myself. We can start with our own show here on Insights and start to push it.
Yeah, and Florida has a lot of athletes. I mean, Florida State of Florida themselves, college-wise, they have 2 of the better programs in the country. And that would be a decent place to start as well.
You're right. It's Insights, and we uncovered a topic here that we're going to explore deeper on our own show to expose and give a little bit more exposure to the men and women who are running and competing in track and field, especially starting right here at home. This is Insights. We appreciate you being with us. Stay tuned for next week. It's Insights. The mic is off. Yeah, that wasn't the direction I would be saying. No. Yeah, that was a heck of a question. when you
For the next segment. Thank you.
Inside Sports Talk. Inside Sports Talk. Traveling the country for the biggest stories in collegiate sports. Bringing you the news that will impact every college athlete in America. From the Ivy League to the SWAC, Big Sky to the Big Ten, Notre Dame, FAMU, Miami or Maine. No university is too big, no college too small. We tell it all. Inside Sports Talk.
Stay up to date with the latest from Insights. Visit our website at insights.com. 2 I's in the middle, INSIIGHTS.com.
Insights is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. The comments of the host and other individual speakers on Insights represent their independent thoughts and representation.